The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/expat2020. Hey everyone, welcome to The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 20. I'm your host, Expat2020, along with my co-host Dan. Dan, how are you doing today?
Merry Christmas. I'm all right.
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm doing good. Actually, we got a cold front coming in next week. It's going to be like -6 degrees at night.
Sugar puffs.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds brutal.
Yeah. How about for you out there in the UK? When are you guys getting your vaccines?
Well, I'm not in any sort of group that's allowed. It's being ranked in order of how liable you are to get the virus, that is. And I won't be getting it anytime soon. Basically, they're giving it to the very old, and they're giving it to healthcare workers and corrupt politicians who can jump the queue. They're all getting it first.
Yeah.
And I'm never getting it because I'm under 40 just and relatively healthy. So yeah, I'm not a priority. So I might never get it because you don't need to vaccinate everyone. You just need to vaccinate enough people. So there's a good chance I'll never get it.
But if you do get it, what's the time frame? Like next spring or early summer or something like that?
It could be like that. Yeah, it could be around that sort of time. Yeah. I think the plan is to be pretty much done by then. The government plans to have life as normal, whatever that means, by spring next year. So fewer masks requirements and a general ease up on restaurants and pubs and all that stuff. So yeah, it's been pushed through at quite a speed. It's exciting.
Yeah, I think out here in Japan, we're probably going to be getting it like in early spring, maybe.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's fair enough.
Yeah, I think that Pfizer vaccine, actually, Japan ordered more doses of it than the U.S. did. So
wow,
we're gonna be getting it out here pretty soon, hopefully. So
yeah.
But like you were saying, it's going to be the biggest priority is going to be like the elderly and healthcare workers, people like that,
Sure.
and like government people, things like that. So. Yeah. Okay. So before jumping into what Dan and I have been playing, I want to tell everyone out there that you can head over to The Arena, multi-platform gaming news podcast, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, as well as on Spotify. Just download your favorite podcast app or open Spotify and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a website for the podcast at expat2020.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. Also, if you would like to support the show and become a patron to get early access to every episode and listen ad-free along with other perks, including the post-show that we do, please visit patreon.com/expat2020 for further details. You can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena AMPGNP, which stands for a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Finally, the podcast will also be uploaded to my YouTube channel at Expat2020 Gaming, so you can go there to listen, subscribe, and click that notification bell for future podcast episodes, as well as leave any comments or questions you might have that we might read on a future episode. So, Dan, how about you this week? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing because it's becoming snowy winter season, so there's lots of winter scenes, which is lovely. I've been enjoying that a great deal. And when I've not been playing that, I've been playing Spyro 2. It's been lovely, very low stress, low anger week. So I've been enjoying that quite a bit. Yeah, Spyro 2
low
is great.
anger week, huh? I see.
Yeah, there's been no rage quits this week. Yeah, it's been lots of just nice fun games. What have you been playing?
I started Cyberpunk 2077, and it's. I just played about an hour and a half of it, just the very beginning, and the customization feature in the game is just it's huge, and it's really fun. It really reminds me of kind of like a Blade Runner style,
Of course,
setting.
yeah.
It's really cool, and you see a lot of kanji characters throughout the
Yeah,
city
cool. Yeah.
in Night City and stuff like that. So stuff that I could understand. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I'll get a little more detail into it a little bit later as we discuss the early reviews and what people are thinking about the game. But yeah, that's been something that I started, as well as continuing to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm still slowly making my way through particular territories of the UK, making my way south, and still trying to form alliances.
Okay.
It's really fun. It's still I'm at, I think, power level 80 now, and the raids are getting more difficult. I mean, the raid levels really jump up to like 190, 260, things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the game's becoming more challenging in that sense. But yeah, it's really fun to play. I'm really enjoying it. And like I said before, taking advantage of the SSD drive on the Series X makes loading times a lot more convenient. Very, very fast. So, yeah.
That sounds very cool
So,
indeed.
yep. Okay, let's get to the news beat. So Dan,
Hello.
Nintendo's not having a very good PR week, man.
Nintendo just desperate to completely, but then when you're told, oh, you don't have to care. Anyway, sorry, yeah, tell your story, and then I'll lay into them when you're done.
Okay, so the first story basically it deals with the criticism it's been getting for targeting a fan. This fan basically raised $10,000 for charity by selling like custom Joy-Con shells.
Yeah.
So let me give a little bit of the backstory here. So there's this content creator. His name's Captain Alex, and he was trying to honor kind of a community figure whose name was Desmond Etika Amofa. And this person, Amofa, had basically taken their own life, tragically taken their own life. And so these proceeds that Captain Alex was making for these controller shells were donated to a foundation. It was called JED, which is like a suicide and mental health and suicide prevention charity.
Brilliant. Yeah, a worthy cause.
And so, yeah, a worthy cause, definitely. So he had raised over $10,000 for this. But then, of course, Nintendo finds out about it, and then they send him a cease and desist letter demanding that this person stop selling these Joy-Con shells. And then the person, Captain Alex, he's also a YouTuber. He created a YouTube video basically saying in this video that Nintendo hates everyone.
Yeah, which is true.
And so basically what happened afterwards was Nintendo basically ordered a copyright strike on that particular channel.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So
which they also can't do.
Yeah. So Nintendo being Nintendo. So I mean, my question is, why does Nintendo have to have such a penchant for making themselves look bad from a PR standpoint all the time? It's like, why couldn't Nintendo just contact this guy and say, hey, let's, we want you, because we have a copyright on this. Why don't we just make a deal so that this can help the charity? I mean, but no, it's all about the thought of money and profit, and everybody is against them, and they have to stop everyone from doing something like this. I don't know, man. What do you think of this, Dan?
Because well, okay, let's start. The legal system globally is fundamentally broken, and whoever has the most money wins. Now, in a fair legal system, if such a thing ever existed, the guys making the Joy-Cons probably could get away with it and go, nah, F you. Because fundamentally, they're not breaking any IP. They're not stealing anyone's technology. They're literally making a plastic box with holes in for something.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're creating Joy-Cons and going, hey, look, we've made Joy-Cons that are 20 quid each. Official Nintendo ones are 70, but we're doing it for 20. Then Nintendo would have a point in going, F you, that's not good enough. You know, you are cribbing our legitimate business.
Yeah.
With a shell, you have to have bought them from Nintendo. So Nintendo have already made 80 quid or the cost of a Switch for buying the machine, right?
Right.
And then someone goes, okay, I'm gonna reshell it. And never mind the fact that on eBay, on Amazon, right now, you can buy 100 different Joy-Con shells right now, this very second, that aren't supporting charity, that are just straight out of China, and nothing of no benefit to anyone. Literally, a bunch of people took a Joy-Con, took it apart, measured the distances of it, printed their own, flooded the market with them. Yeah. It's just bonk. It's just, I mean, you're right. It's just purely Nintendo being Nintendo. I mean, you know, it's an. I don't know. It's a. But then again, it's an anti-suicide charity, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the thing that really bewilders me about all of this. Yeah. It's a mental health and suicide prevention charity. Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't Nintendo have some kind of, a heartfelt thought to this charity and let them do this? I just don't understand that.
But we know that Japan bloody loves suicide.
Oh yeah.
They love it. They're not number 2 in the world right now. They've had, I read the other day, they've had more deaths through suicide during Corona than actual Corona. Yeah. It's mad, isn't it, during the pandemic? So,
that's a number that's been, high for a very, very long time here. I mean,
and of course, they've cooked the books on their Corona deaths because that's what they do. God bless them. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, it would have been interesting if they had gone, no, F you, see you in court. Then you can't, can you? Because whoever's got the money wins every time. Yeah, so I don't know. It would have been interesting to see if they stuck to their guns and gone, well, what are you going to do about it? Yeah. No, I mean, being infringed. I mean, yeah.
Well, you're talking about how with the the legal issue, how the side with the most money wins. Basically, this is all about money, and in the long term, it's like Nintendo's making a huge profit off of the Switches and off of all these other Joy-Cons and whatever. So it's like they're going to try to squash anybody that's trying to even these little charities or people that are trying to make a little bit of money off of this. Because they know they can. Yeah. Because they know they can. Yeah.
Nintendo don't make skins. They don't make custom housings. They don't make any housing. Once you bought your Joy-Con, that's it. And it's not like it's a legal modification. It's not altering the performance of it. It's literally two curved pieces of plastic with holes in. Yeah. That's all a Joy-Con shell is. There's no I don't. Yeah, it's baffling. I mean, I understand because they friggin' hate. I mean, they've had a guy bloody sent to jail for hacking the Switch, which is another really really dodgy thing. I mean, again, that's because they've got all the money. Yeah. When you hack something and you open it up for homebrew and stuff, and people happen to make games for it, that's something. Or people download games on it. That's a different thing. But the person who hacked the machine, I don't know. Once you own that machine, you can do whatever the bloody hell you want with it. Yeah. I think that's really dodgy, but that's another topic entirely. But yeah, it's just. I mean, like Nintendo had this amazing image of being, super friendly, super pro family, super pro gamer, a very friendly, affable company.
Yeah, that doesn't allow adult-themed games on their platform. I mean, basically, like Yakuza. I mean, that was another story this week. The Yakuza creator was saying basically Nintendo is a kiddie teen platform, because they don't allow their Yakuza games on the platform. So, Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Just come on. I mean, get with the program. I mean, just talk to these people at least. Talk to them and say, hey, okay, we're gonna make a kind of like an agreement with you, and we're gonna let you make some of this money for the charity.
Yeah.
Because mental health is important. I mean, yeah, like you were saying, I mean, the suicide rate in Japan here is high. You would think that Nintendo, being a Japanese company, would
Mm,
understand that mental health is a huge issue and
mm.
needs to be addressed. But no, dollar, yen, dollar signs. That's all I see.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's more a case of. I'm not sure in this instance it is about the money as much. I think it's more about the fact that it's ours. It's something of ours. It's our design. It's our idea. Only we get to mess around with it. I don't know because to be honest, they've only made. I mean, not only made. 10 grand's an amazing amount. Do they get to keep the money, or have they intended to give us that as well? Because they're dicks like that.
Yeah,
I think the charity got to keep the 10 grand. Um,
yeah,
but it's baffling. I mean, yeah, right now type in Joy-Con shell on Amazon or eBay, and they're like a million friggin' hits. So
yeah,
it's baffling they went after these. But then it's an easy soft target, and it sends a message, doesn't it?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but again,
That's the point right there. It's an easy soft target. Boom.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. Again, I wish everyone went FU to all these big companies, but there's no point because you cannot win. Even when you're in the right, even when you're doing nothing wrong, like and nothing particularly insidious or counter to someone's IP or someone's technology. They did actually steamroll you because that's how all the courts work. It's global. Whoever has the money wins. It's complete bullshit.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next story. So, Cyberpunk 2077 released on the 10th,
Did
and
it?
yeah, it
Huh.
did.
I wouldn't have known.
Finally. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And
Cyberpunk.
we're going to, yeah. So, we're going to talk about some of the general player reactions, bug issues. Actually, there were epilepsy warnings promised because there were some scenes in the game
Yeah.
that people, I think one of the reviewers actually did have a mild epileptic seizure
Yeah.
during one of the scenes in the game where there were these flashing points or whatever. And so CD Projekt Red had issued a statement saying that they are going to put warnings for epilepsy
Yeah.
and epileptic seizures into the game. And also announced was free DLC coming from spring 2021.
Yeah.
So whether it's on the same lines as The Witcher's type of DLC in scope remains to be seen, but we shall see. But first, I want to go through some player comments,
Oh.
and what I'm hearing is the PS4, the base PS4, is really struggling with this
And
game.
base Xbox, you friggin' Microsoft fanboy.
Yeah, that too. But
Shocking.
thanks. Yeah, no, but basically, what I want to talk about though is some of the comments that people have
Yeah.
been discussing, and a lot of them have been base PS4 based. For example, 720p resolution, frame drops,
Yeah.
blurry visuals, crashes, screen tearing constantly, for example, muddy graphics card and frame rates dropping to a crawl. So,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people on the base PS4 are having a lot of problems with it. And from the Xbox side of things, I want to give a comment from one of our listeners and a friend of the show, Turn-Based Carl. He said he's
Oh.
been playing for about an hour and a half,
Uh-huh.
which is about the same amount of time I have on the Series X. Only saw a few minor glitches so far, mostly graphical. Before landing at the bar, it froze up for a few seconds, and after finishing a VR training module, my character was walking without me touching anything. So that was
Mm.
one of the comments there. And then a comment from a friend of the show and a listener on Twitter. at Silent Hill Dude. He's been playing Cyberpunk 2077, and he says it's pretty good. I think this is the first time that a game actually had the best customization options, in my opinion. I've been enjoying the game. It's definitely got some bugs, but I'm sure that'll be fixed soon. The combat and gunplay is really good.
Oh.
So some positive comments and some negative comments, basically pertaining to a lot of the bug issues. And as I was saying before, too, the reviews that have come out for Cyberpunk so far on Metacritic, it's gotten a 90, but that was for a PC build. Yeah, it was for a PC build. So, basically all of the reviews have been on the PC side of things. So, but there are, bug issues in the game. So go ahead, Dan. What do you think of all this? Yeah.
Well, we've got to fact that the review scores are all based on the PC, which is what I mean. They've had some. I mean, considering Project Red are pretty down with the kids. The whole review embargo, you cannot talk about the consoles. We want you to only talk about PC. We want you to only use footage that we give you on the PC. I don't know. So take that with a massive pinch of salt. But yeah, no, I mean, it clearly wasn't designed for PS4 and Xbox, whatever previous one was. It wasn't. It clearly wasn't designed for these. Yeah. And I don't know if they're just hoping that everyone's going to upgrade it and carry their copy over onto PS5 or next Xbox, whatever it's going to be. But but
well, right now I'm playing the Xbox One version, and hopefully early next year they'll be coming out with the next gen versions, and it'll be a free upgrade. So
so you're playing the Xbox old on the Xbox new, right? Yes. Okay,
yes, but I was going to say the Xbox Series X does give some type of enhancements. I think.
Of course it does.
So far, I mean, I've only played an hour and a half, as has Turn-Based Carl, our listener, and basically, I haven't run into any issues yet. So, but only an hour and a half, so we'll see. But
so when the new Xbox version comes out, you would get a whole new, complete new game that's been designed for that thing, or is it just like a patch for the current one you've got, or how's that going to work?
I think it's a brand new game, but your save, you will keep your save, and you can continue the game where you left off. So
okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, the initial download for the game on Series X, when I downloaded it, I pre-installed it. It was about 52 gig, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there was another patch that was like 40 something gig or something like that. So that was the day one patch. It was close to 50 gig, but and pertaining to the bugs, one more comment from our friend and listener, Turn-Based Carl. He said, everyone needs to calm down about these bugs. I effing loved Skyrim, and Fallout 3 and 4 both had plenty of bugs. Also, Wasteland 3 hard crashed on me numerous times. I still loved it and played through it twice. So, there's a lot of... go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
No, go on. There's a lot of positives coming out. Is that...
A lot of positives, but I mean, there's a lot of people out there. They're not really worried so much about the bugs right now. They're just really enjoying the game, and they know that in time these bugs are going to be, weeded out and taken care of. So,
but as a consumer, they shouldn't be apologies for this, and there shouldn't be bloody bugs. Imagine if you bought a car brand new, you get halfway down the road and you realise that the friggin' wheels don't work, or the electric windows don't roll down. You shouldn't be, it's okay, there's bugs. Games shouldn't be effing released with bugs in. They should not be released with bugs in. If they want you to pay $70 frigging dollars for a game now. For $70, I want a friggin' working game with a beginning, middle, and end all in. It drives me spare that A, games released with bugs, B, they're apologists for bugs, and the company's given them, we've got a roadmap for fixing the bugs. Bollocks! Do that bit first, then release the game. What we need to do is get rid of frigging release dates.
Yeah.
People need to stop saying this is going to come out in November 2020. People need to say the game comes out when the game frigging comes out. And so say like Cyberpunk, let's not lie, this game was rushed out. Obviously it was rushed out.
Oh yeah. Well, definitely. They had to. I mean, they had delayed it like 3 times
Exactly.
this year.
So what they should have done is they should have said, they don't need to worry. They could release this game on frigging 9/11 and it would still sell like gangbusters. So these guys don't need to worry. They could have gone, you know what? Sod it. We'll miss Christmas. Give us another 6 months. You're going to cry and whine because that's what fanboys do. But when you get the game, it's going to be pristine. It's going to be bloody perfect.
Well, that's what they seem to be doing at Microsoft with Halo Infinite.
Brilliant. Do it. You have my absolute blessing.
Their new release window is fall of 2021.
Yep. Yeah. So they put it back by like a freaking year or so, which is a genius move. Well done. Congratulations. Like, the game shouldn't be released in this state. And I don't care. Oh, it's only graphical, whatever. I don't care. There are no excuses for releasing a game with bugs. I'm sorry. We've managed it. Again, this is what I come back to, how broadband effing ruined gaming for this very reason. It ruined
We love you,
gaming.
Jane.
We love you. You're great. Broadband ruined gaming. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no excuse for bugs. There just isn't, and I don't care. And no one's going to change my mind on this. I don't give a toss what any of the listeners say or anyone says. There is no excuse for bugs in the game. And on the PC, maybe you can get away with it because there are numerous graphics cards, numerous setups. But releasing a game on a PS4, which is a sealed system, releasing a game on the Xbox, a sealed system, there is no excuse for bugs. Discussion's finished. F off with it. Take your time making games. Don't rush it.
I agree with you on that point. It's just there's a lot of people out there, and I'm one of them, unfortunately, that just they want to play it on day one. It's like the anticipation of the game is so high, and you've got a lot of peer pressure from a lot of friends, in the streaming community as well. They're going to be streaming it day one. Everybody wants to play it. And
that's fair enough.
Sometimes it's kind of like rolling the dice. I mean, sometimes you get lucky and the game is really, really good, or sometimes you don't.
You see, that's not good enough. It shouldn't be a frigging dice roll. Seriously, go to my car. Imagine buying a car and the fucking brakes don't work. It's like you can't have that. But I don't know why. It must be a trading standards thing because I'm pretty sure if you did do that, you could take them to court and go, "Hey, look, this doesn't work. Give me my god." But to be fair, though, I've heard that the PS. The PS Network and the Xbox Network, whatever they're called, are just giving out refunds.
Xbox Live, yeah.
Yeah, so if you do buy the game and you're like, this is a broken, jaggy mess, they'll give you refunds straight away. So that's pretty good. That's fair. Because I'm not sure if it is currently, from what I've seen and the shocking frame rate drops on the PS4, it probably isn't worth the money they're asking for it. I tell you what, I mean, imagine if there's any other game and it released, because I've read things about on the PS4 this drops like 15 frames a second.
Yeah, it's bad.
Imagine if that was any other game, that would be torn an absolute new one. If it was any other game, it would be absolutely eviscerated.
Most likely, yeah.
But because it's Cyberpunk, because everyone wants to play it, it's good. But going back to your analogy about how you want to play games day one, again, that's not the point there, because again, just make day one much later, and every game you play, you should put the disc in. It downloads whatever updates. It shouldn't download a patch because the game's bloody perfect when it comes out. And again, there are no excuses for it not being that when it comes out.
I agree with you there, man. I agree with you, but in a perfect world that would work. But in this corporate world we're living in, it's like everybody. It's all about the money, and we got to get it out.
But then again, it's on the consumer to go, nah, F that. Yeah, I'd love to see the stats of people, because everyone I've spoken to, everyone except for you, has gone, no way, I'm not buying it for at least 6 months. It's a buggy mess. Everyone I've spoken to, everyone I know, all these people who play a shed load of games have been like, no, mate, not a chance am I getting that day one.
Yeah,
and that cannot be good.
I think it's more than just me. There's a bunch of people out there I know
No,
that.
but from my window, from the people I know, and I've talked about this, you are literally the only one who's actually got the game. Everyone I know has been like, forget that. It's there's absolutely no point. But again, just take your time, take another year if you need to. People need to grow up and stop being affected by hype. That's nothing I'm going to talk about in the Game Awards thing, but hype
Okay.
needs to go away.
Okay. Well, actually, let's segment over to that now. Let's switch over. So, basically, there's one thing I want to add, though, before we get into the conversation about the Game Awards, and it comes from Twitter. I don't know. You know who Kaz Hirai is, right? He was
I
the
do,
ex-CEO.
He was.
Yeah, Hirai-song. Oh, I love his tweets. He's so funny. He was mentioning the character that was added to Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And he was referring to the story we were talking about earlier with Nintendo, and you know, and he says here in his tweet, Jeff Keighley has decided to show the new Smash Brothers character at the end of the Game Awards, just in case Nintendo mistakenly tries to copyright strike the stream. And then like at the bottom of that, he shows a picture of the character. I think it's called Sephiroth. From the Final Fantasy series. And he puts Nintendo and Jeff Keighley, with the Sephiroth character, and Sephiroth is impaling Mario. And Mario, he says, this tweet. So because, it wasn't at the end of the show. It was at the beginning of the show where the new character for Super Smash Brothers, Sephiroth, was introduced. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So good old Cause. I love Cause. So let's go ahead and first let's talk about some of the award winners from the Game Awards. So I'm going to just go over some of the list. I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of the big ones. Game of the Year went to Last of Us Part 2. Naughty Dog winning that one. Game Direction also was won by The Last of Us 2. Most anticipated game. This was an interesting one. Elden Ring. That's the game that George R.R. Martin from Game of Thrones fame has been helping to create. So that was interesting. Elden Ring won that award. Best Narrative went to The Last of Us Part 2. Art Direction went to Ghost of Tsushima. And the score and music went to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Audio design, The Last of Us Part 2. And best performance went to Laura Bailey as Abby for The Last of Us Part 2. I was happy to see that. She did a phenomenal job in the game. Games for Impact, Tell Me Why was the winner there from the makers of Life is Strange. Best ongoing game, No Man's Sky. And I think, Dan, you're happy about that one, yeah?
Yeah, deserved,
Yeah. Best indie game went to Hades. Of course, the makers of Transistor and Bastion. Debut indie game went to Phasmophobia. So kind of like a survival horror type of game. Mobile game, Among Us. Which is interesting. That game came out in 2018, but it gained a lot of popularity this year because of the COVID outbreak and everything. Community support went to Fall Guys. Ultimate Knockout. Best VR game, best AR went to Half-Life Alyx. That was probably the category that most people knew Half-Life would win on that one.
But isn't it like a 2-hour tech demo? Oh, they're actually like real games in VR. I think that's the name that won. I think it's just got Half-Life on the front, and that's how that won. I'm not entirely sure that's the best VR game that came out this year. I think literally banking on the name. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Innovation and accessibility went to The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Best action game went to Hades. So best action adventure, The Last of Us Part 2. Best RPG went to Final Fantasy VII Remake. So best fighting game, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Best family game, and you're happy about this one, I know, Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Whee.
Yes. Best simulation strategy game, Microsoft Flight Simulator. which is coming to consoles in summer next year. So, or coming to Xbox, yes. So I'm looking forward to that. Best sports racing game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Multiplayer game went to Among Us. Yeah. Content Creator of the Year, Valkyrie. So esports athletes, Heyo Showmaker Sue won Best Esports Athlete. And it's interesting, a lot of these awards for esports was shown during the pre-show.
Yeah, because it's boring and no one cares. Yeah.
Exactly. That's.
Sorry, can I just take a second to say, is there anything more embarrassing than the title esports athlete? Is there anything more embarrassing on the planet than that title? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No. I was going to say, and Stephen A. Smith, who's a big name in sports journalism, he works on ESPN. They actually got him on the show to name the award for that.
Brilliant.
So,
did he do it with a straight face? Did he not burst out?
No, he didn't.
All right. No. But he's a better man than I. I'd have been peeing myself.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's pretty much the list of the awards. So, Dan, how do you feel about the winners here?
I've got to sound very surprised by Last of Us again. Again, you see, this is we touched a bit on this briefly last week. I've had a bit more time to think about it, but dissembling, like taking apart the story and the game itself.
Yeah,
and I think it is story of the year, but I don't know. But it's so strange to me because I think a lot of people are getting caught up in the story and ignoring the game aspect of the game. Because it doesn't actually, the game itself doesn't do anything original. It doesn't do anything that the previous game didn't do perfectly. Like they got the combat for the game, for the style of game, absolutely perfect the first time around, right?
Yeah.
And they just copied over into this one. And I think it is story of the year, but I think the lack of innovation in the game itself and the repeated title on mechanics and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I think narrative game of the year it wins, but actual game of the year, actual mechanics design implementation, I don't know. I think people just got swept up in the narrative, and that's what's clouded people's judgment. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed playing it, but.
So wouldn't you say the same though for like Animal Crossing? I mean, the Animal Crossings that came out before that, Doom, for example.
But Doom didn't win.
Yeah, didn't win.
You know,
of course.
Doom literally didn't win. So, I don't know. But then Animal Crossing, I mean, it is more of the same. But then that didn't win Game of the Year. That won the best, family game, and maybe something more that's more family in tune with it this year than has been in previous ones, which is feasible. Yeah. But no, I'm not trying to detract from it at all. But I'm just surprised that something else didn't win, considering the way it, steamrolled the golden joysticks.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just generally think that people got swept up in the narrative, and of course, I'm also very surprised because now this I'm not trying to upset anyone. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people are very upset about the diversity in the game. There's a lot of diversity in the game. A lot of the themes in the game aren't conducive to what gamers expect to play in a game, which resulted in quite a big backlash about the game itself. How Abby's physical appearance. Lesbian and gay issues in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm not
transgender issues.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all these issues, which don't get me, they're amazing, brilliant, great. Get that out of the way. Pro. Love's love. Whatever. Be cool. Don't be a dick to other people. It does worry me that it's a case of if we don't vote this as Game of the Year, we're going to get absolutely hammered by the community that we are. It's shunning, kind of like.
So you're saying there's a bias towards the.
Yeah, I'm saying there's an unfavorable bias. So if we don't say this is Game of the Year, the LGBTQ plus, who I fully support, will go absolutely mental and will get torn apart.
Yeah. Well, that could be a factor. I don't know how the gaming media would respond to that, but it could be. I don't know.
But then it is a very good game. I haven't played Ghost, so I can't say.
Yeah.
If it
so
is
that's
better.
Interesting because tell me why. I mean, has those type of the transgender issues the biggest part of the game basically. So why wasn't that nominated for Game of the Year? I don't know. I mean, the narrative is very, very, very well written. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But no, good. Yeah, it's good. It's good. But I think
Yeah,
it has some serious flaws though. Last of Us. Anyway, tell me about Ghost.
Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, I was surprised that it didn't win more. But art direction, I think it deserved art direction for sure.
I think that's a token
I'm
offer in itself.
surprised. I'm surprised a little bit that it didn't win Game of the Year on the side of the Game Awards. But yeah. But I think well deserved The Last of Us Part 2. Anyway, so
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to some of the, for example, the announcements that came from the Game Awards. And first off was the new Smash Brothers character Sephiroth. So Sephiroth will join Super Smash Brothers. It's expected to be out on December 31st. So yeah, they showed a big trailer for that. So more the Final Fantasy world is entering Smash Brothers. And then here's one, Dan. This is one of the ones that was interesting to me. I don't know how this is gonna, pan out when it does come out, but the Perfect Dark trailer. From the Initiative. So it's interesting. They're like in the media now, the Initiative is starting to be compared to Sony Santa Monica on the PlayStation side. The Initiative working on Perfect Dark. So we get a cinematic trailer for that. And it's interesting, in the trailer, we see kind of like a near future world that, deals with global warming and how corporations are taking over. I don't know. How did you feel about this trailer? Yeah, there was no gameplay, of course. It's all cinematics. What did you think?
I mean, yeah. When did the Game Awards become a mini E3? Like,
when Jeff Keighley decided to make it like that. Yeah.
Last year there was like 4 announcements, which was mostly hardware related, talking about this year's releases. But
yeah, the Xbox Series X was announced last year at Game Awards. Yeah.
But there were like 20 new games revealed at the end of the Video Game Awards. So it became
half of them were during the pre-show. Yeah.
Well, this is it. So it's become like this little mini E3, which I'm kind of like, is that the point? Are we that desperate? Right. And now, this is another thing. In my crusade against hype, because hype is embarrassing and cringeworthy, game companies need to sod off with trailers for the sake of trailers, which contain no in-game footage and no game details. Perfect Dark and the Mass Effect trailers in particularly were pathetic, pointless, and just designed to generate hype for games that don't even exist yet. And the Dragon Age one.
What was that? That wasn't even a trailer, basically. It just showed artwork.
They were all CG rendered arbitrary things that the Mass Effect one,
just to build hype, just like you say, just to build hype.
Solely to build hype. It was embarrassing, it was sad, and it was really pathetic. It's like, hey, look, there's a new Dragon Age, kids, and all the Bang fans like, oh, more Dragon Age, because and it's like they showed you a friggin' black screen with the word Dragon Age on, and they're like, brilliant. Oh, I need it now. Pre-order confirmed. And it's like, what the F is wrong with you people? Like, why are we being shown bullshit CGI renders for games 4 years away? Like,
that game
Perfect Dark will not be out until 2022 at best.
At the earliest, yeah.
The Mass Effect game, we're talking 2 years.
Yeah.
Because
they had that shakeup at BioWare too. So
you say shakeup, it's more like people left because it sucks now.
But
all the really big names have gone like, I'm kind of done. I'm going to go. I mean, Anthem did a lot of damage to the in-house staff there, and a lot of people got pissed off and left, which is fair enough, as they should have, because it was a forced abomination. Yeah, no, I hate it. Perfect Dark. I saw it and I was like, brilliant. But again, I instantly got pissed off because it doesn't work on me. It just
Yeah.
bores me. I don't. I've seen pre-renders. I've seen CGI. I don't give a toss. It's because you've got nothing to show me. If you've got nothing to show me, don't tell me about the game.
Yeah.
Like this is a problem. Like, I mean, the hype for Cyberpunk started 8 years ago, right? Isn't something mental like that? It's been they
Yeah.
first announced as like a teaser, like a blank screen, Cyberpunk from CD Projekt Red, like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you don't need that, and this is why people get rabid and get fan wars and all this crap. And I guess yeah, and then you to release your crap game day one, full of bugs, none that the people you've been advertising to for the last 6 years, because the hype train's been on full charge, full steam
Yeah.
since then.
Yeah.
I know, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It doesn't work. It just makes you think you've got nothing to show for it, and
Yeah.
the game's probably going to be
And
a bit shit.
it's funny how with the Mass Effect trailer, they're trying to appeal to the older Mass Effect fans from like 1, 2, and 3. So I guess what they're trying to say is that this story is going to take place after the events of Mass Effect 3. So they're trying to appeal to a lot of the older Mass Effect fans, not the ones
Yeah,
that were playing Andromeda, but
no. I think
yeah.
that's what's interesting in that is so I'm not sure if it went. I don't know. I got the buzz it might be a prequel actually. I mean, it shows someone looks like Liara picking up
Yeah.
some broken N7 armor. But I remember Shepard's not the only person that was N7.
Right.
N7 was a rank,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it could be anyone's armor really. But I got the impression that the way that the static on the radio and they're talking about like first contact and early space flight, it was surprising it wasn't set before that, which would be very interesting. I think having the early years of a fleggling relationship with other species in the universe, that'd be quite interesting
Right.
for me. I reckon.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it is a direct sequel, but either way, And again, I saw it. I'm like, well, I've seen this. This is
Yeah.
telling me absolutely nothing, and it just doesn't work on me. And the same with Perfect Dark. The premise of Perfect Dark that we saw is exactly the same as the one that came out on the N64.
Mm.
It's one for one. It's the same. The Earth is shagged, so big corporations take over. Corporations aren't good.
Yeah.
Like we know this. We had that in the first Perfect Dark game. We had that in the crap Xbox game Perfect Dark. We had it in the Game Boy Color version of Perfect Dark. We've seen this.
Mm.
Why are we bothering? One point, why are you bothering with Perfect Dark? Perfect Dark is bloody perfect. It's done, and it's available on the Xbox.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
it's something that they can reboot, just like the Tomb Raider series.
yeah, the
How they
best they can do is
rebooted the
bugger it
Tomb
up.
Raider series. Yeah.
The best they can do is knacker it, is do a bad job of it. I generally, again, it's we got a name. We can make a generic first-person shooter, slap this name on it, and we're away.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. It was more annoying than anything else watching these things because it's like, why are we
Well,
doing this?
there was one I have to admit that I was interested in, and that was the Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, I saw that.
From
I
developer
watched that.
Striking Distance,
Yeah,
the Dead Space developer Glenn Schofield.
yeah,
Uh, man, that has me excited. I mean, I know it's a ways off, just like Perfect Dark. It probably won't be out. I think they gave a release window of 2022, but I wouldn't probably see this game coming until probably 2023.
yeah,
But with the HUD on the back of the guy's neck in the trailer and everything,
yeah.
so much reminded me of Dead Space, and it could be, you know, a game that is very much like Dead Space, and that would really make me happy because it's my favorite survival horror game of all time. And
Again, it's more BS CGI.
yeah, that I was telling Burley last night in the news show that the alien in that
Yeah,
trailer kind of reminded me of the alien in that Netflix series Stranger Things.
yeah. Oh, it's not Alien. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, just pointless. I mean, doesn't that make you nervous? There's nothing to talk about like this year. I
yeah.
mean, couldn't have at least thrown one game in there? It's like, oh, you'll be able to play this between now and next Christmas. You can play this game. Nah, everything's like, oh, coming. I don't know, in a couple of years.
Well, I mean, games that are already out. For example, Flight Simulator for Series X is coming
Yeah.
next summer. There are some other games coming soon, though. Back for Blood, which is
Okay. Oh
kind of
yeah.
like the Left 4 Dead sequel.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's coming. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's not. Yeah. It's. Yeah. It's a spiritual sequel because it's not made
yeah,
by Valve or anyone like that. But yeah.
yeah. So Arc 2 is coming with Vin Diesel in it. So we saw some
Yeah.
of the gameplay of that. So um, that's another game that they showed. And then another map for Among Us is going to be coming as well. And Fall Guys Season 3 Ultimate Knockout is going to be coming December 15th. So that's something to look forward to for people who are into, Fall Guys. And then, Dan, I think you wanted to say something about these skins in Fortnite. They
Oh,
showed off the Master Chief coming to Fortnite. What do you want to say about that? Yeah.
oh, they're all fucking tragic. Is what I want to say about that. And anyone who buys them is tragic as well. It's so cringe seeing Kratos like twerking in
Yeah.
in. I don't know how they let it happen
Yeah.
because because anyone who appears in Fortnite cheapens the image. Like the
Yeah.
Mandalorians in Fortnite, it
Yeah.
cheapens it.
And
It makes it
and
trashy.
Baby
I'm
Yoda.
sorry.
Yeah.
It just makes it trashy. If your character appears in Fortnite, congratulations. You may as well have just had it appear in like Kids Card. It's just the lowest. It's the lowest common denominator. It's so embarrassing, and like literally having these characters twerking and doing these stupid frigging dances. It's against your IP. You don't want Kratos to be like doing a funny little dance with a gormless expression on his face. It's harming your IP.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. It's so sad. It's just desperate cash grabbing and advertising your characters.
Yeah,
Like,
I kind of wonder if people that play Fortnite have they actually played God of War before, or have they actually played any of the Halo games? I don't
like
know, man.
the
Probably
children
not.
who play Fortnite, because 99% of the audience of Fortnite is kids. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Mandalorians in it. Go at Mandalorian, do a little funny dance.
Yeah, Baby Yoda. Yeah.
It's so pathetic.
Yeah.
Like Master Chief's in it now, and it's like, why is Master Chief in it?
Yeah.
Because when I think Master Chief, and I think that the amazing lore and the hard work that's been done creating this universe, I want to see him. What the frig's that thing? Flossing. I want to see him floss. Look, Master Chief is flossing. It's so funny. It's like, dude, what the frig? Like, this is what games are now. Games are so shit now. Anyway, sorry. Continue. Move on. Like, I
Well,
fucking hate.
one game that I didn't think was shit that looked pretty awesome that they showed at the Game Awards was from the developer of Black Desert Online. It's kind of similar to the Elder Scrolls called
Yeah,
Crimson Desert.
yeah, that looked
It's
good.
from it's from Pearl Abyss. Pearl Abyss is a South Korean developer, and man, this looked really good. I mean, just the areas that you're in. Yeah, it
It sure
kind
was
of
pretty.
reminds you of The Witcher in a way. Basically, it's an open world action
Yeah,
adventure,
I feel.
and it blends single player narrative with online multiplayer.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be coming next winter, 2021, to
yeah,
consoles as well, so and PC. But and the footage that they showed was captured on PC, but I'm sure the console versions will be good as well. It looked amazing.
yeah.
Um, so of all the other stuff, I mean, I think Crimson Desert looked really, really great. So maybe we'll see more of that next year, probably at E3 or something like that. So,
Yeah.
so any other comments do you have about the game awards in general? I mean, this year being
Uh,
like a COVID year and having it basically all digital and the presenters and the winners just
oh, I, ca-
speaking via Zoom and stuff like that. Yeah.
I can't be asked to watch it. I'll just get the next day. I get the headlines the next day. I can't be asked to watch all that. I'm sure it was fine. I've got no interest in watching 90 minutes of clapping and well done and self congratulating inside the industry.
Yeah, it was funny. It's like those the generated claps and stuff. That was pretty funny.
Oh, was that real? All right, brilliant.
No, it wasn't. It was like, like, okay,
Yeah,
push the button, get the claps going. Yeah.
round
So.
of applause. Okay, yeah. No, I'm sure it's fine. But again, as with all award ceremonies, it's largely arbitrary and academic, and doesn't really matter. But yeah, good job. Well done.
Yeah.
Oh wait, isn't there a people's voice where they let the commoner, the ignorant public, decide what is a good game? What was the public's choice or the people's
The
voice? Or
public's,
whatever?
I think the people's choice was Ghost of Tsushima, actually.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Anyway,
Yeah, moving on.
so that was our topic of the show. So let's move on to Dan's retro topic
Oh crap!
of the week. And what do you got for us this week, Dan?
Oh, we're already an hour in. Okay, I'm gonna make it super quick then. So, other cyberpunk-ish games. I was thinking about one of the very first cyberpunk games. I'm not sure if it is cyberpunk games, but I think it is a cyberpunk game. One of the very first games I remember playing on the Amstrad CPC was a game called. It wasn't called that. Sorry, my T went down the wrong way. It was called Hacker 2, and um, it's cyberpunk, so I say it is. Um, it's actually really, really fun. It's a really weird game. If you can, you go down an emulator. I think there's one called Daphne, which is a CPC emulator. It works on Retropie Emulation Station. And get the ROM for Hacker 2. And basically, how to explain it? So you're a hacker, and you're remotely controlling a robot, and the robot has to break into a building to get code to a vault which contains the Doomsday Papers, which is obviously something
Oh,
very, very bad. And it's all played through, like you watch like CCTV cameras. I think it's kind of like Night Trap before Night Trap, and yeah, it's really cute. It's a cute little, fun little game, and it is very tense and atmospheric. And it's got this idea that it's in the future. You're a elite hacker. You're winding your way again through a bad corporation. I'm pretty sure or is it a government building? I can't remember. It's decades since I played it. But basically, yeah, you got to get through this building that's full of traps and security cameras and security guards, and you got to weasel your way through with this little tiny robot. And yeah, and it's brilliant. So if you get a chance, check out Hacker 2. It's like one of the first cyberpunk games I ever played.
awesome.
Other honorable mentions, obviously, for the longest time, you couldn't play Blade Runner on the PC unless you had the original discs from 1990. God, was it 7? Something mad like that. It was a very long time ago. Again, I'm sure everyone listening to this has already realised, but it's been re-released on GOG, so it'll just run on your PC now. I think they've tampered with the graphics a little bit. I don't think it's too bad. I haven't played it myself because it's still like £8, and I refuse to pay that much for a game I already own. But yeah, so if you don't fancy Hacker 2, go have a look at Blade Runner. It's an amazing point and click. It has its flaws because it doesn't always make clear that you can go home and sleep, and by sleeping that progresses the story. And because the game's permanently set at night, you never know when to sleep. So, but yeah, no, it's cracking. So if you don't fancy Hacker 2, which is a bit slow and tedious, another good point and click is Blade Runner, which is still to stay an exceptional game, and it's in canon, I believe.
All
So
right.
there, check it out.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Dan. So that was a retro topic for this week. Now, I have I have a comment. So our listener comments that we have. So friends of the show and people who are listening to us. Burly Men Gaming. Yeah. I kind of
Yay!
call him, Mr. Canada because he's my moderator during the Twitch live stream that we do Monday through Friday for
Good job.
the news show.
Yeah.
He writes into us and says, I know this isn't cyberpunk related news, but I feel this should be spread out so more people know. If you buy Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, the campaign is not on the disc. So he's referring to people who buy it on the disc. You need to download a 72 gig update to play the campaign, which I feel is ridiculous.
Oh, wow,
so that's what he writes into us.
He's absolutely right, of course. Yeah, But yeah, it's just again, it's just how everything's just pretty crap now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of afraid this is probably going to be trendy Now, with a lot of these bigger games, they're just going to put the multiplayer on the disc and say, okay, you have to download a 75 gigabyte, patch or 75 gigabyte, single
Yeah,
player game,
a patch that contains the actual game. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird, and you'd think they'd have it the other way around because the story, the campaign would be much larger than the multiplayer bit. So you surely want the delivery bit that is on disc, and that the fastest bit would be the campaign, and then the download, because that's how it was back in the good old days.
Yeah.
You had you had your game, and the multiplayer bit was the optional extra, the bit they threw in to give value to your game, and that's flipped over. Now you're buying Call of Duty for the multiplayer. Oh, and as a token gesture, oh, here's some half baked single player campaign. Go fill your boots, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely right. Yeah, it's crackers.
Okay, next up is our new and upcoming video game releases via Metacritic. And damn, this week, only one game.
Whee! Good. This
Just
will be brief.
one game.
Good.
Yeah. It comes out on December 15th. It's called Collection of Saga, Final Fantasy
Oh yeah,
Legend.
very cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
Game
the
Boy.
compilation.
Yeah.
Yes. So in celebration of the Saga series' 30th anniversary, the first 3 games in the series are coming to Nintendo Switch in one collection. The first Game Boy RPG to sell over 1 million units, and the memorable first installment of the series, the Final Fantasy Legend. A title that gained popularity through its refined gameplay system and the journey through a diverse world, Final Fantasy Legend 2, and a unique story that traveled across time that featured a new and innovative character leveling system, Final Fantasy Legend 3. Yes.
Oh.
So no online multiplayer on this one, but it's a compilation series. Dan, did you play this? I never had, but did you play it?
I wasn't into it, and back in the day, these had the most. I mean, all the Final Fantasy series back in the day had the most randomized hodgepodge releases. Famously, in the UK, it might have been the States as well. I'm not an expert on the Final Fantasy series by any means, but I remember like the first one we got over here was Final Fantasy 3, and it was called like Mystic Quest, and on the Game Boys it was even more fractured. So this is a good thing, having the originals as they were intended to be. One compilation with the correct names and it's the correct chronological order. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I might get it, but it's far too much money.
Yeah.
I think it's actually 25 odd quid or something nuts like that for like 3 Game Boy games. Like,
Yeah.
really? But yeah, no, this is cool. So yeah, this is my game of the week.
Okay. Yeah.
From the choices available, I have to choose this one.
Yeah. Just that one game this week. I just want to go over one little other thing here. Some of the scores from Metacritic. I think last week, Empire of Sin, which came out on December 1st, its score on Metacritic on PS4 is not very promising. It got a 44.
Bloody hell, that's...
Yeah, so that a lot of problems there, unfortunately, for that game.
And we know that having review scores is fundamentally broken, because anything under 80 is complete trash, apparently.
Yeah.
So much so that publishers offer incentives. If your game gets above 80% on Metacritic, it will give you a bonus. That sort of. Sorry, which is annoying. I'm too much ranting. I'm ranting too much. I'm getting a cough. I've got COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got the Rona.
Episode 20 Dan rant. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No. But yeah. I mean, that's bad. I mean, under 50. That is, we're talking serious problems.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's deserved. I after you told me about it one, but I did look at the trailer. It does look good. It's not my cup of tea, admittedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting premise, that's for sure. Yeah. It's a shame it hasn't done well in the reviews.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So, before we conclude the episode, I want to let everyone know where you can find me on social media. On social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Expat_2020, and on my YouTube channel, Expat2020 Gaming, where you can see my latest videos related to new game releases, game trailer impressions, as well as this podcast. You can also find me on Facebook at Expat2020, and I have a Discord server named the Expat2020 Arena, where all of you are welcome to join and support other content creators, discuss anything and everything related to video games, promote your live streaming, as well as leave questions and comments for the podcast. I am also a live streamer and a Twitch affiliate, and you can catch my live streams on twitch.tv/expat2020 as I do gaming live streams and a supplement to the podcast Monday through Friday called The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news weekday live stream. Finally, you can also find my website for gaming content at expat2020.live. So that does it for me. Dan, what's going on for you this week? Any projects? And for our newer listeners, where can they find you on social media?
I'm too busy to stream at the minute, to be honest. I don't really have that much interest in it. But I am on Twitch, Press Start to Game, all one word, Press Start to Game. I'm also on YouTube with a similar sort of handle. Good luck finding me. We're still preparing. We've got a stream next week, next Thursday, in fact, where we're going to be going around playing lots of retro Christmas games, which is very cool. We've got some real weird, obscure stuff on there, which I'm very excited about. Stuff that I haven't even seen before, which is awesome. So if you want information on that, that's at the Centre for Computing History. The website is computinghistory.org.uk. Check us out in the meantime, yeah. But yeah, I might do something online. I might be on Twitch at some point. I might actually stream a bit of Hacker 2. I tell you what. In 13 news, XIII. As you know, my dear friend, I pre-ordered that game, which I must never do, and listener, you should never do either. Pre-ordering is cancer. It encourages people releasing.
So you've done it.
Yeah, no, I did, but my rationale is 13 exists as a game. The game is perfectly fine. All you had to do was slap some 4K textures on it and kick it out the door. But no, they had to frig around with it, and they've ruined it. Anyway, there's been another big patch. It came out on the 10th, so I might be on Twitch live with my reaction to the 13 remake. So follow me on Twitch, and I tell you what, tonight, September, bloody hell, tonight, September 12th, 2020. Oh, for Christ's sake. Tonight, December 12th, 2020, at 9 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 9 p.m. UK time, I'm going to go live on Twitch with my reactions to the 13 remake. Be there or be somewhere else doing something interesting. I don't care either way. So that's what I'm doing this week. I'm playing 13 tonight, apparently.
Okay, awesome. All right. So to end the show today, our indie recording artist spotlight. This week's spotlight is on the Whiskey Wasps. The Whiskey Wasps are an indie acoustic folk band founded by husband and wife Billy Schmidt and Rachel Duvall Schmidt. Originally from West Palm Beach, Florida, they are now based in California. From their album titled Melancholy Holly, and the song is called Morning Snow. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. I'm your host, Expat2020, along with my co-host, Dan.
Hello.
We hope to see you in the next one. So take care, everyone. Peace out.
Merry Christmas.